The wilderness off Mountain Loop Highway was the perfect retreat for a quiet weekend under the stars. In August 2012, nestled in the dense forest near Darrington, Washington, a couple arrived in the afternoon, ready to enjoy nature's solitude. They chose a secluded spot near a dirt road, surrounded by towering trees and the distant murmur of a nearby river. As they set up camp, something odd caught their attention: a set of unusually large footprints embedded in the dirt. The prints were wider and longer than any human tracks they had seen before, as if left by someone walking barefoot with massive feet. The couple exchanged puzzled glances but shrugged it off. Maybe a hiker had passed through earlier. The evening air cooled as the sun dipped below the trees, casting long shadows across the campsite. Around 5 p.m., the silence was suddenly broken by an unnerving sound from the hills north of them. A long, high-pitched wail that ended in a deep, guttural growl. The sound reverberated through the trees, making the couple freeze. It wasn't a coyote. It wasn't a bear. Still, they convinced themselves it was just an unfamiliar animal and continued with their evening. But as nightfall crept in, so did an eerie feeling. Every so often, they would hear faint rustling on the hillside, like something moving through the underbrush. At first, it was distant. But as the hours passed, the noises grew closer. By 9:30 p.m., the unease had settled deep in their bones. The couple, now on edge, decided to retreat into the safety of their SUV. They locked the doors and turned off their lantern, hoping the dark would conceal them. Minutes passed. Then, just outside their vehicle, heavy footfalls crunched against the forest floor. The steps were slow and deliberate, circling their camp. The couple held their breath, straining to see through the blackness beyond the windows. Then, a sudden splash. The river, just 30 feet from their car, had been disturbed by something large, something powerful. They flicked on their flashlights, shining them toward the water, but the beam revealed only the rippling surface. Whatever had made the sound was out of sight. The minutes dragged on, stretching into an hour. Then, another sound, one they weren't expecting. A pair of headlights appeared in the distance, followed by the crunch of tires on gravel. Another vehicle was approaching. A pickup truck pulled up just beyond their campsite. 2 men stepped out, their faces pale and tense. One of them called out, "Did you guys see that?" Confused, the couple shook their heads. The men walked closer, their voices low but urgent. "We were driving down the road when something huge ran across right in front of us." The couple's stomachs tightened. The driver took a deep breath. It was covered in hair. Massive. Walked on 2 legs like a man. "We almost hit it." He glanced at their campsite, eyes flicking toward the tree line. "You might want to get out of here." The other man nodded. People have seen stuff like this out here before. The weight of their words settled over the couple. They had spent the past several hours listening to something move in the woods, watching, lurking, waiting. And now, they had confirmation. They weren't imagining things. Wasting no time, the couple packed up their belongings as quickly as they could, never once turning their backs to the trees. Within minutes, they were speeding down the darkened road, leaving the campsite behind. But the unease stayed with them. They would never forget the sounds and the footprints. And though they left the campsite behind, they wondered if they would return to camp along the Mountain Loop Highway ever again.